Hello Internet, welcome to the channel. My name's Frankie and in today's video we are revisiting Hollow Creek and we are looking at some of the most adorable animals that we have available to us on console at the moment, and that is the common Wombat. These are a few animals that I've been hoping to build for quite a while now, and I think given their nocturnal nature they're going to blend into this zoo pretty damn well. And what we're doing to begin with is we are deleting some of the wall that we built in the last episode, in which we built a habitat for both our food bats and the red fox, and we are just going to extend that wall a little bit, kind of enlarging the area that it encapsulates at the moment so that we can start to build a habitat for our wombats. I was considering building them a whole new area, but given that this whole theme zoo is meant to be like an abandoned village or something, there wouldn't necessarily be that many buildings purposefully made for housing these animals. We'd be cramming them in where we could. So it just made sense to kind of extend this area a little bit and try to make it work from there. Now, one thing that I will say about this wall is whilst it looks lovely, it really lends itself to this rustic kind of look that I'm going for. I am really happy with it. It is very, very expensive. So if you're going to be doing anything like this yourself, where you've made a wall out of small faux rocks, I would definitely suggest that you save up a bit of money first, because this eats up the vast majority of the funds that I had for this habitat. Now, in terms of the habitat size, this is just about perfect for a singular wombat. I do end up having two though, and it brings their welfare down just a tiny bit, but not enough for me to worry, because they are still up in the high 90s, and that is my aim for all of our animals. What I'm doing here is just adjusting the wooden twilight fence that we also have to separate this wall from the path that our guests can walk up, and later we'll be adding the staff gate there as well, and fortunately the gate will line up perfectly with those wooden fence posts, so that I can just move them ever so slightly, adjusting them to make sure they fit just right, but they do fit kind of meter by meter, I guess is the best way to explain it. They fit just right with the fencing. Now, these animals do represent a fairly unique issue, and that is that they can't have the most coverage in the world. These are often found in quite arid environments across Australia, so we're going to have quite a bit of sand and rock work and stuff, and whilst I do start to place a bunch of plants, I have to remove quite a bit, and they just really do not like that much coverage. So that presented a new kind of, I guess, obstacle for me. I'm very used to going all out with plant life and stuff and making that a real feature of each of my habitats. So I really had to concentrate on what I was doing with this habitat in particular, and we really focused on the rock work. The idea was to have a lot of rock work at the back, which we can hide our burrow in, and even the water tap, we could put that in the rock work as well. Have a kind of coming up at the back like it's the foot of a cliff or a ravine or something, and our animals are living at the bottom of it, at the base of this rocky area, and that would allow us to kind of cascade down towards the front of the habitat where most of the enrichment items would be, and we can allow our animals quite a bit of space at the front. And that's another issue I had. These guys have incredibly small hitboxes, and what that means is a hitbox is the area that an animal can, it's kind of the area the animal takes up when it's moving about. So if it's turning, there needs to be enough room for the entire invisible square that's around it to turn and not hit any other obstacles, otherwise it won't be able to move. And these guys, annoyingly, they just seem to not be able to get over any rocks or anything. So any rocks that kind of stick out of the ground a little bit, that normally your monkeys and stuff, your other animals would be able to get over really easily, these guys really struggle with it. And I get it, they're small, squat animals, they're super duper cute for that reason, but it does make it kind of difficult when building for them. You really need to make sure that the area that you want them to be able to walk over is as flat as possible. Plant life isn't too much of an issue. They're grasses and stuff that you get from the Oceania biome. They can walk through that, it's completely fine. Not that you'll have much of it because of the the plant coverage restrictions. You won't have too much plant life anyway, but they can absolutely fine get through that plant coverage and stuff. It is just the rocks. They really struggle with having quite big boulders and stuff sticking out of the floor, so you're going to have to try and bear that in mind. What I do with the rocks here is, aside from the placement, is I decide to use two different types. We have the deserty savanna rocks at the back, creating the main facade, the shape of the rockwork that we have. And then at the base of them I use some really flat temperate rocks and sink them into the ground a little bit to create a texture on the floor. Rather than it just being one tone of rock, we're going to have a few different. It just introduces some tonal variation, which is excellent for keeping things interesting and making it look a little bit more natural. In terms of decoration for this habitat, we do the usual things of placing our custom sign on the edge of the wall, along with an education board and some donation bins. We also start to add a bunch of lighting to the walls in the shapes of candles and stuff, and for this habitat I focus on internal lighting with pumpkins. I've used pumpkins in basically every habitat that we've done in this zoo so far, but I do prioritise them quite a bit in this habitat due to how much rocky space we've got. It's a lot of wasted space up there, quite a lot of open area. So I'm going to dot a bunch of pumpkins around in different shapes and sizes and make sure that each of them has a candle within them. And we're also going to put the stone wombat gargoyle thing right up the top as well, and have it kind of look like it's a shrine to the wombat. We're going to have that one gargoyle will be surrounded by various sizes of pumpkin. It's going to really draw your attention to it, which is kind of just a funny little thing inside the habitat. And then we're also going to utilize that back wall where we have the barn over there that the bats are inside. We're going to use some of the glow in the dark bat signs, or I think of them as stickers, because it's the exact kind of thing that you'd put on a kid's ceiling or something, the little glow in the dark stars and whatnot. But we're going to litter the side of the barn with some glow in the dark bats, just to add a little bit of light, I guess, because we really do struggle for lighting. As we want this zoo to work in the dark, we need to make sure that we're bearing that kind of thing in mind. We're also going to sink a bunch of the massive mushrooms back there as well, just again to help with the lighting, and it just helps create an atmosphere by having these little decorations dotted all over the place. I'm also going to add a couple more ghosts that we made previously in the zoo and just dot them at the back of the habitat, just because we haven't used them since that very first habitat, and it's an excellent bit of decoration that really helps with the theming of this entire zoo. It's just a little bit of character, isn't it? So we're going to pop those at the back of the habitat as well. Now I am just about done with the talking segment of this video, but as you might be able to see, there's still quite a bit left, so make sure that you stick around and watch the time lapse as we continue to build for these rather charming animals. If you have watched this far into the video and you're not already, then please consider subscribing to the channel. We have a goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We are finally past the 900 mark, so we're getting there pretty quickly, and I'd really appreciate it if anyone watching this video joined our little team of zookeepers and continue to follow our building journeys here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and until next time, I'll see you later.